think Brinda left the stage. Okay, so we're good to go. A very good afternoon to everyone, and welcome back to the 7th edition of India Affiliate Summit, co-presented by IAMAI and V Commission, powered by Optimise Media, brought to you by Zapaz Media, and in association with Trachea. This session specifically is powered by Optimize Media. And with that, we would like to begin with our next session. The topic for this session is how are influencers changing the affiliate marketing game? And for the same, I would like to welcome our esteemed panelists, our moderator, Mr. Nitin Sabharwal, Chief Operating Officer in Optimize India, and our esteemed panelists, Mr. Amit Sethiya, Head Marketing Syska, Ms. Brinda Shah, a very well-known Instagram influencer, Mr. Saurabh Saini, Head Digital Marketing Havells, and Ms. Prajakta Rathe, AVP Digital Marketing MyGlamm. We welcome all of you and thank you for taking our time and joining in today. I would now request Nitin to please take over. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Garma, and good afternoon to everybody. Thank you very much for joining in today. I'm going to welcome all of you who are online and hearing this session. I'm sure it's going to be very interesting for people who are looking at influencer as a channel for digital transformation, digital marketing, digital customer acquisition. I think this session is going to be great for all of you. So welcome all of you. Thanks a lot, Amit, Saurabh, Brinda, Prajakta for coming online and sharing your thoughts yesterday. And I'm hoping that I'll pick up on your knowledge and experience in this space to kind of get some real value driven for all the listeners of this program. So welcome on board and thank you very much. Just to kick off the conversation, it would be great if you can, based on your understanding in the last 6 to 12 months or 18 months, do you believe that influencer marketing is not just a buzzword anymore? And is it really making business sense for all of you? And I would like to get Brinda also to kind of tell us her experience in the last 18 months. So the question is open to all. Anybody can start off. So, Amit, you would want to kind of start off?
Sure, Nitin. So basically, we have actually seen a very steady and and a promising growth, I would say, in terms of the way we have been using influencer marketing programs, and more so because today, as we speak, Syska is a very diversified brand. While we are known for LED products, we have also entered certain categories like your personal grooming appliances, mobile accessories, smart home appliances, etc. Wherein the role of influencer marketing has really spiked, and more so during and after COVID also, like as we speak today. Another reason I want to put across is the fact that why these influencer marketing programs are doing very well for us is the fact that the content that we dish out as a brand, say more or less in the ATL space, is led by brand. There I don't talk the language of product per se. Like if I've launched a product or there is a scheme on a product and things like that. It's at a very brand level that we go and talk to the consumers, in terms of ATL consumption. But I think when it comes to product, because ultimately the brand is offering you so many products and in each category rather, right? I think that's where all these influencers come in action for us and create awesome content pieces, talk about the various aspects of it, and so on and so forth. So I think these are almost like my extended sales team, I would say, beyond marketing, in fact, who actually go out and bring so much of value to the brand.
And you're absolutely right, and thanks for that insight. Prajakta, how about you? I know you've been in this space for almost 2 years with all your experience, or more than 2 years, in kind of running affiliate via influencer or influencer-led programs. What are your insights in the last 18 months specifically? In terms of this approach by the advertiser or by the brand.
Yeah. So, as you all know, brands like, the ones that are into the beauty space, where you can touch and feel and experience the product. Therein it becomes, I think it becomes very easy to convince a user, okay, via an influencer. So during these 18 months, that has only, it has only been rising in that front, where influencers are talking more and more about the product, and I would say the community is building. So that is the, I think that is a plus point. Obviously, it was there before 2 years as well, but since, like I said, the beauty, the market that we are into, plus the user base that we have, the kind of followings that these influencers have, because it's a look and feel, it's an experience that they get when they see an influencer, during wearing makeup, wearing personal care, or anything in that category. So that becomes like a, okay, yeah, this is what influencer has done, even if it had been, and because of social media, the people who have been using social media so much in the last 18 months, because in the free time, that's what we do. Even if we are working, not working, women who are at home, who have been like, that is our TG. So all of them are coming online. Those were not even there before 2 years, or maybe before 18 months. So they have come online, they have come on Instagram, and that is what they have been following, their favorite people, what they, when they watch on TV, or certain people that they know in that category are doing well. So obviously the user base has increased, one thing. Of course, the kind of distribution to these influencers have increased, and because of the influencers, that referral kind of sales has also increased. So that is a kind of growth that we have seen in the last 18 months.
Fantastic. I think that's a great insight into last 18 months specifically, and I only see this growing going forward. Saurabh, you've been using for Havells the influencer ecosystem for some time now, and we did have a conversation yesterday as well on this. What are your thoughts as to last 18 months for you as a brand? And then I'll come to Brinda, where she can actually tell us what actually is happening on ground, because she's the one who's most connected with not just a particular brand. I think she has access to, and she had some great insights yesterday, and I'll come to that. So over to you, Saurabh. What is your take on this?
Sure. So I will just go a little bit back in 2006 when I actually started working in marketing team, and we used to make presentations which talks about content is king, right? But I right now feel, yes, content is actually king in multiple platforms. People are actually consuming it in different formats. And then when we talk about influencers are just much more like, amplifiers of those content. And with the help of the technology, we have seen that the content creation is much more getting easier day by day. So yes, as a brand, content, every brand do have a content strategy these days, and it's a very specific pillar for them. And then when we look at a content strategy, influencers plays a very important role in that strategy bit. But if we see overall, influencer marketing has taken, upside down in last almost a year and a half, and I think post COVID kind of a situation where influencers, called celebrities who were just brand were looking at. Now all those things have changed in almost 18 months. The reach to celebrities as either in terms of cost or in terms of content is not so easy for all of all the brands or marketing managers, but that has been very well taken by macro or micro influencers. If your strategy is to use those influencers and communicate your content to the end user who can be a potential customer to your product, I think you should do it. And from last 2 to 3 years, influencer marketing is things to do whenever we launch any campaign. So that's it's a part of our proper marketing strategy at any point of time.
I think that's a great start, all three of you. Brinda, over to you. Give us the real ground report as to what is happening last 18 months. How do you see it? You engage with almost 15 to 30 brands in a month. That's my understanding, and correct me if my understanding is wrong or not. So over to you. Love to hear on-ground report directly from you.
Yeah, first of all, I'm so honored to be a part of this session. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity, and I'm so glad to meet all of you here. I mean, I started my journey in 2016 when I was in my second year of degree college, and of course, it was not like it was not at a very big face influencer marketing. It had just started back then. It was like, in static post format, and now we see that reels have come up, which is so engaging, and brands are actually using that and leveraging the content. So definitely reels has really taken over for Instagram marketing, and lot of content creators have started making these reels. And I think one of the biggest opportunities that I have got was when there was this 110 years of completion of L'Oreal, and I had got a chance to walk the ramp. Like, usually they take models, but instead of that, they took 110 influencers to walk the ramp, which was definitely a great opportunity. So here there are a lot of influencers who are getting good opportunities now to grow.
And specifically in the last 18 months, has your business grown? Have you been reached out by more advertisers? With this advent of new D2C brands coming up in a large way, with all the money flowing in, how is that impacting you in the last 18 months specifically?
So actually, when COVID had hit, it was a little difficult. But then, there were more and more people coming online using internet, and because of that, there were a lot of brands who wanted to reach out to people online. And one of the best ways was to do that through influencer marketing. And definitely, business has grown now. It is growing more, in fact.
All right, perfect. Coming to our next leg of conversation, and thank you very much for all your insights. But are there some challenges, that you face? Let's say, if I were to ask you any two challenges, Prajakta, we can start with you. Any two challenges that you face managing this for your organization? It could be technology, it could be people, it could be content creation, it could be the entire stitching up of the journey. So you can pick up on any two of them and take us through. See, I want this session to be as real as possible. There are a lot of people listening in. I want them to learn from our experiences. I want to make them learn from our failures as well. So are there any challenges that you believe, if solved, can really take this market to a higher direction, or a growth path that it has not yet seen?
Yeah, the first challenge that especially with this kind of product industry where you have so many products, that you want the influencers to work on, to experience, to actually showcase to the set of users that they have following with. Now, in that case, what happens is to manage, right? It gets difficult because then you have to be in touch with so many of them. And I'm not talking about individually, but you know what I mean. So there, what happens is that it becomes difficult, right? Because then there are so many things to be followed up, because you have to send certain products to them. Okay, the logistic part is also there. The kind of codes that you have to generate, maybe at your backend, whatever referral code that you have to generate. So all of this becomes difficult. So it is it's a campaign that you have to set up. Okay, that is it's a challenge in a way, because there are so many operational things involved. However, to counter that, right, there is what you can do. I mean, this is what that we have been doing, is that we have our own influencer search engine. Like, we have our own influencer marketing platform, which is called as Plixo, right? So
This is something that
Plixo
you
is
built
actually,
in-house?
sorry.
This is something that you built in-house as an organization?
Yes.
Interesting. Continue, please. My apologies for stopping you.
Yes. So no worries. So this is what we have built, and what has to be done is you have to just sign up as an influencer, right? Or even as a brand. Okay. Then for a brand, of course, because there are so many influencers, attached to it. I mean, associated with it. You can actually get a campaign, send your briefs and everything. So it's kind of a seamless thing to do. not all of the brands follow this, right? Now what, because obviously we don't have that kind of knowledge, or we don't have that kind of expertise. Okay, how does this work, right? Because we don't have that kind of experience. Not all brands have that experience. Also, we hesitate because it's like, okay, who has done this? We don't know. It's something new, so something like that. So now when all of them coming to one under one umbrella, that makes a lot of things easier for the brands as well as influencers, right? So that is one challenge that I feel that can get resolved when all of the brands and the influencers can come to whatever platforms there is. There is one more platform actually, which is called as Chorus. It is one of my, I know this person who actually got into this. So Chorus is also one of the influencer marketing platform that offers the same kind of relation, the same kind of association for brands and for influencers. So we all, influencers and brands, should try this per category. Also, it becomes very easy because then you don't have to search for category led influencer unless you have that and deep understanding of what kind of influence are there in your category, and you want to, and also per city, or hyper local, and etc etc. So that is one thing, one major challenge I feel. Second challenge, I don't think it's a challenge, but that the one that we were discussing before, the kind of, okay, how to leverage that more. I know, okay, I'm getting this certain kind of sale through one influencer or a set of influencers, but how do I leverage that? How do I make it bigger? Even if I cross promote the products, or even if we cross promote any range of the products that we give to the same set of influencers, but we want to make a certain range, like a bestseller range, and we know that the sale is coming, but how to leverage that? Okay, that I think is still not deeply explored. I think that has to be deeply explored. It's a challenge because like it's new for all of us, and we're still exploring, and it is evolving. Like, influencers are coming on board, brands are coming on board, products are there, so many products are coming on. We are launching so many new products, so that is the reason that becomes a challenge. This is what I feel.
Interesting. Saurabh, you had something to add to this?
Sure. So I think whatever just Prajakta just said are, yes, no doubt, are the challenges. But if it's been asked to me, I would say for us the major two challenges which we see is one, brand safety, right? We have seen a lot of instances in the past. We have burnt our fingers on this. Uh, all those influencer marketing from the brand point of view also need to be hygiened very well. And in most of our, and I think every campaign, this is a mandate that brand safety should be the first prime objective, whosoever is actually managing that. So that is first. I think for all most of the brands, it is one of the challenge in even current situation where you have seen influencer marketing going, north direction at nobody knows, like, and a lot of influencers coming in, and that too, again, as I'm repeating it, because whatever it was 3 years back, now it's not, right? Most of it's micro new people coming in. And when we heard Brinda in 2016 to 2020, yeah, so a lot of people coming in, and from a brand has always been very conservative in terms of your reputation, right? Your hygiene, your safeties. So I think that is one of the biggest challenges which we do have right now. Second is, which I personally feel, is technology, right? And I never, it's been a day when I do not receive 10 emails from any influencer agency saying that, okay, we are the influencer agencies, we are managing all influencers, right? So you talk about any influencer, all the agency manages them. So so those kind of things need to be filtered through a technology. Rightly said by Prajakta, she has been doing things in house in terms of managing those things, filtering out, and having a database of those influencers which actually work with you, have a highest engagement. About them. So we are also working on a technology with our partners, right? So that we directly get in touch with the influencer rather than a third party. We know them much more better. So I think these are the things which I would like to add here.
Sure, Amit, over to you.
I think I'm still at a very basic, level of, putting out some challenges for, in this forum. See, I think we all agree that, this space is growing like crazy, and every single day, you get so many inquiries, queries, etc.,
True.
talking about their reach, etc., which is again in nothing less than million. Everybody talks million. That has become like the unique, smallest chotusa currency that everybody loves to flash. But my fundamental problem, is the fact that today, um, right from your mainstream agency who holds the brand to specialized agencies, who are talking about influencer marketing programs, tech support, etc., to even certain influencers who directly approach you, for association reasons. What bothers me is the fact that there is a lack of standardization in terms of their cost. See, unless and until it is rightfully calibrated, it becomes difficult for you to figure out that, okay, if whether this money that you're investing in a particular influencer is justified or not. I think I have seen this whole change, coming from the, in fact, real estate days. I was, sort of active for almost 10 years in real estate as well. I used to find similar problem in the OOH category because there was no standardized calibration of cost. Okay, right. I think similarly in this space also, I find a similar challenge coming in. That's one.
True.
Uh, and because of cost, I think the confidence sort of shackles a bit, because ultimately you're answerable to somebody out there that, okay, if you have invested XYZ lakh rupees,
True.
is that the right money? The second, and again the very basic, is today, I don't know even what the million reach XYZ, if this influencer is talking about, whether it is genuine or not. You have so many stories coming in that, okay, this was the fraud, that was the fraud. So my point is, okay, is this just a eyewash or this is something beyond that? And third, I think Saurabh beautifully spoke about engagement. I think this is one metric that we all marketeers kind of really chase, that, okay, beyond your reach, how much of engagement will you bring for the brand? Now, even there also, imagine one influencer who's working across various subcategories within the same category. So, example, say example, travel, for example, right?
Yes.
Now
Yes.
there is an influencer who pitches, that, okay, I am somebody who's doing very good in the travel industry. But imagine, even travel is a big topic, right? And then there are so many buckets within travel.
Within travel, absolutely.
Yeah, and then what you are pitching to me is that one golden number of engagement rate. Now, what was this rate coming from? Like this umbrella of travel or sub bucket of travel? Because again, it is going to mislead my decision making process because you
True.
get 1 million reach, 2 million reach, and one engagement figure, right?
Metric, correct.
But how this was achieved and for which subcategory, unless and until I don't get to see this again, it is misleading.
True, true. I think you're hitting the nail on the head, and I'll once Brinda kind of answers this question as to her side of the challenges, because we were having a conversation yesterday before this, and she did mention a couple of them. So over to you, Brinda. Let's again, as I said, on ground reporting directly from Brinda.
Yeah, so I believe that I mean, what advertisers face the challenges are that, finding the right kind of influencers, whether to go for micro, macro, celebrity influencer, and what kind of reach they can give. I think all of this is very important. The metrics, the reach, impressions, engagement. When influencer puts out stories or posts, so is it actually you leading to the brand, are there customers leading to the brand page, like are they engaging on their posts? I think all these metrics are important. And secondly, again, the return on investment, that is also one of the important things that an influencer has to kind of, I feel, give when the brand is kind of paying influencers so and so amount. They kind of do expect, not a lot of brands, but definitely some brands do expect the kind of return on investment that they are getting. And
So from an influencer standpoint, Brinda, you did mention yesterday in terms of approvals on content. So if you put in the effort, you were saying something. So please elaborate on that.
Yeah, so just as an influencer, I would expect the agency to kind of understand our point of view as well. There are a lot of brands who give us the creative freedom to express ourselves, but then there are some brands who kind of have a set of rules that we have to abide to, and that is important. But also just allowing a little bit of creative freedom is important as well, and to understand our point of view on how to work on things. Like brands believe that okay, if we use certain hashtags, that will definitely lead to more engagement, and yes, that is true, but we also as influencers know that okay, what are the things that can really create engagement. So I feel a brand should trust an influencer as well when they are like more experienced in the field.
All right. Thank you very much. We've almost reached the middle of our session, and I'll just do a quick question round. Would require as candid answers as possible from all of you, and each question to each brand will be different, so it's not a standard question. If I were to ask you as brands, and Brinda, there's a special question for you at the end. What kind of budgets do you think you spend? You can give me specific numbers, you can give me a frame in terms of a range that, okay, every month we engage with influencers and we spend for endorsements and engagement, X to X or X to Y kind of a number. If you are fine sharing that, if you want to give exact, it's fine. But I just want people to know that there are brands who are invested in this for long term. It's not just a short term engagement that they're looking at, and it will be nice for people out there to know that there is opportunity with brands when it comes to influencer spendings. So one by one, Amit, if you can give us a range, a number that will highlight what you do on a monthly basis, on an annualized basis, up to you. Range or specific.
See, I think I will just change the metric, and for a reason, like you spoke about, what kind of value is invested, right, in terms of money. I think that is going to be a bit misleading because depending upon, what kind of category or what kind of product you want to go out and, and share with the audiences, you are spending maybe more money, but maybe on less number of influencers, right? Because you're hiring macro or celebs for that reason, because reach is something you're targeting, right? So I think that ways maybe it's going to be a bit misleading, and that's why I will shift the metric to numbers of influencers. Okay. So I think from the last, in fact, before COVID came in, I think we were very sure that yes, this is something we want to invest a lot of our energies also into this, right? Because as I said, there are a lot of problems, practical problems associated, but we want to sort this out gradually. As we speak today, I think I'm so happy that the contribution of these influencers has already grown. In fact, so from mere number of 4 to 5 influencers 3 years back, today as we speak, we at least associate with more than 30 to 40 influencers on monthly basis.
Wow,
that's the share that has increased. Out of those influencers, we believe that it also needs to be a bit of trial and error method, because that is where you will test the waters, right? I'm like, who is bringing what kind of value to you? So almost 50% is more or less stable for us in terms of people that we know, influencers who we know, they know the brand, etc. And 50% is always we try to consciously, bring new people in the pool, right? So that they also, try to contribute, from their point of view, because maybe, they will have a different point of view for the same product. So example, if I talk about how can you use a beard trimmer, some guy will come and, give you the same narrative. But suddenly, you find a new talent who actually gives a different spin altogether to the same product. True. And that is suddenly more exciting, right? So I think that is how we approach this space.
No, that's wonderful. I think it's a good number, from 3 to 30 or 40 influencers a month. That shows that you are invested for long term and you are engaging with these. I would want to call them content creators and publishers to some extent, because they know their audience. Saurabh, what about you? Number like Amit in terms of influencers, or will you tell me the budgets that you spend?
Okay, no worries. I will answer both of you.
Fantastic, fantastic.
So, but I think I will just carry from what Amit just said. So even our journey, pre-COVID times and our definition of influencers were different, right? Uh, and we always do our campaigns with famous faces, celebrities, or tier one known faces on TV. We're looking at number of followers, the maximum reach. Those were the times when we used to focus on that strategy. And obviously, with any campaign you might take 5, 10, and rightly said by Amit, because of the costing is one of the reason. You can have an influencer in a 50,000 rupees to a 15 lakh to a 50 lakh. This number cannot be a constant number, and that's hence it's very difficult to answer what Nitin you just said, but I will try my best to answer
Sure.
as much as I can. But after COVID situation, things have changed for all of us, right? And also the way influencer marketing has grown up and expanded, and brand strategy also changed, right? One leg is your regular influencers, where you use micro influencers as business as usual, right? As Amit said, maybe for personal grooming as category, there is no season. It's across 12 months. You can talk about it.
True.
But when you have specific campaigns, right? When you're launching something new, you really want to make them really big, right? And then you want people to talk about it, and then you really need some faces who are known to it, and then you need macro and micro to support them. And then entire strategy came changes that way, and obviously number of influencers with budget also changes. So I think that's very might not be a right way of portraying, saying like, oh, this is an amount which we spend, but it's much more very tactical in nature or strategical in nature, depending on how the objective of a brand is. Whereas, Nitin, you ask upfront how much monies you allocate overall annual wise, or maybe any campaign. So I think somewhere around, on an average, 15 to 20% is by default is our cap in most of the campaigns that happen.
Interesting. That's a large allocation from a channel perspective. If I were to kind of break up your marketing, number, allocating 15-20% on a campaign level is quite a decent investment, and I'm sure that gives us opportunity for you to work with so many more influencers than I think a lot of organizations plan for. I think that's a great insight, because personally, if you ask me, I believe the democratization of media via influencers will happen, and I'm waiting for Prajakta to kind of give us her thoughts on this, as to how she feels about this, and is there a number that does she work on, or will she also give me some percentage?
No, I'm not going to give you any percentage here. See, it varies. Of course, everyone has said the same thing, and I don't want to repeat the same thing. Okay.
True.
Okay. So there are two aspects that I want to just highlight. One is, of course, because MyGlamm has recently done a lot of changes, right? And they are still like undergoing a lot of changes, right? So therefore, we are not in that state where we have a fixed amount. Of course, we have like a BAU amount, but there are a lot of experiments that are happening at the same time, right? So even if we invest, say between 10 to 20, lakhs is what I would say. Even we are investing that, it would vary a month to month, season to season. Because in beauty, what happens is you have certain seasons to take care, and where you want to promote a very good number of products during that season, and maybe we want to target celeb influencers, all of that kind of a category. Also, we have various collections in MyGlamm. Like we have a Manish Malhotra collection, or we have our own collection. We are coming up with one more new collection, that is covering maybe a teenage girls or teenage group. So when there are so many groups or so many collections that you have, and you split it into seasons, split it into occasions that are going to happen, then the number varies. But somewhere the budget lies into that bucket is what I would want to say. I wouldn't want to take it any further. If that answers your question, if you want to have
It
if you
absolutely
want to
does. I
ask me,
think
I can answer.
No, I think that gives us a great insight. Brinda, a different question to you. How many brands do you engage with and end up, doing your posts on a monthly basis? You might be engaging with X, you might just do, a certain percentage out of that. So how many brands engage with you as a macro influencer, and how much do you end up executing? And do you have a strategy when you pick and choose on what you want to execute and what you want to leave out? Is it just money, or are there other factors that you look at?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good question. So I think it's not just money, but it is also about what you're portraying, how you're portraying your particular video or post. It has to be customer centric, because at the end of the day, audience is what is consuming your content. And I think really understanding from both the perspective, from the brand's point of view and the audience point of view, keeping both in mind, the content has to be put out. I mean, it's very important to keep the content which is relatable and not just do it for the sake of it or just because it's a trend. So yeah, I think that is one important factor.
You're shying away from the numbers. How many brands do you engage with on a monthly basis, and how many you end up executing?
So there's no particular number, because it varies from month to month, and it's not just for videos or posts. It is also the stories which I do. So there are a lot of campaigns which are executed on stories as a post, reel, video, IGTV. So it all depends. But yeah, as you mentioned earlier, it's anywhere between 15 to 25 to 30 per month. Yeah.
All right, fantastic. So we are almost on the last leg of our session, and I want to bring everybody back to the core of this subject, which is affiliate marketing, which is more performance driven, which is more to do with the fact that influencers can make money out of it, while brands can engage with more influencers. But the entire conversation kind of loses its steam when we come to the currency that brands want to deal with. Uh, when we talk about performance marketing, across channels, whether it is Google, Facebook, advertising, where we advertisers are putting in money, their end goal objectives are cost per transaction, CPT, kind of an engagement. While when we talk to the influencer set of it, there are some KPIs, there are hard KPIs. Sometimes there are some influencers who are saying that, okay, I can do something, or I think we should be able to get something, in terms of return of advertising spend or ROI. But the holy grail for this thing to explode really into a large business opportunity for both advertisers and influencers is CPT, cost per transaction. And we've seen that markets like Middle East or Southeast Asia, US, some European markets have slowly started moving in that direction. So I would want to know from all of you, what will it take? And I have some thoughts on it, and I'll, kind of based on your input, I'll share them after everybody. So I'll start this time with Brinda. She's the one who's actually dealing in terms of the currency that she gets paid in right now. She gets paid on cost per post or engagement. This ask for certain, the advertisers ask for certain. So Brinda, what do you feel? Cost per transaction, is that a holy grail for you as well?
Yeah, I think eventually it will, and it definitely, I think, is important when an influencer is paid. I mean, usually it works where I am paid for per post or per story or per video. So I think eventually maybe the cost per transaction would be a good idea as well.
All right, Prajakta, what about you? You deal with a lot of influencers. How are your compensation structures for them? Is it the holy grail? Have you been able to solve it, or you're still looking for solutions?
No, of course it is not CPT. But I have this different thought, okay? As a user and of course as a brand as well. If as a user I have seen a very good following influencer video, okay, I saw some product and I liked it very much, but I will not buy it, like at that time itself. that maybe I would want to do more research, maybe go search on Google, and maybe then buy it from the website, but won't go, maybe directly through that route of influencer, right? I think somehow it is not fair to pay them CPT just because, I mean, I'm just going aboard. It's completely on the influencer side, but it makes sense because it's not a one day thing, right? There is a lot of research that a user does, and therefore if I give them basis CPT, it would be like, okay, I want to drive transactions, but that's not what I want to do. I want what I want. Of course, end result is that, but why do we do a certain RNS campaign, or why are we doing organic, posts that we do on Instagram or Facebook? Is to build a community, right?
True.
So if we have to build a community, then we can't ask people, okay, this is what you get. Of course, you will get a share that you will eventually, maybe at the end of the month. But who knows that I maybe saw the video last month, but I have the budget this month, therefore I'm going to buy this month. But who knows that I have seen that video that an influencer posted. So how is it that we are going to relate that part? And I don't feel that it is fair. Just don't get me wrong, but I feel from a consumer perspective also, because I see so many videos. I am like an avid shopper and a beauty lover and everything. And when I see those things, I keep that in mind, and I'm like, okay, I'll watch on YouTube. I want to watch more on Google. I'll do my research. Then a month or two, I'll wait for the sale also to come, by the way, for a particular brand, or on Myntra, or on Amazon, or on Nykaa. And then I will buy. But when I buy, it's actually the influence of the first touch, that they made. But it is not attributed to them, unfortunately. And even if it is attributed, it is not that I bought it the same day or in the very same month. So maybe the share of them, when we give the budget, then that will become very, very less. Because that is not what the objective. The objective is actually to drive engagement. That's actually to drive eyeballs to our page or to our content or our product. So that is what the main objective is.
Prajakta, before I go to Saurabh and Amit, I would like to tell you that you please start taking classes for digital marketing for a lot of advertisers who come to networks just for transactions. And last 14 years, I've spent teaching this, that it is not about transaction, it's about eyeballs, it is about getting the market share. So thank you very much for endorsing that point, and I hope you have this conversation more with a lot more advertisers. I will move to advertisers who are now the ones who actually spend money.
Want that.
So let's look at Saurabh and Amit on what's their take on this. So thank you very much for that insight. Saurabh, you want to go at it?
So, Nitin, you rightly put it in, I would just answer in that way. When affiliate started up, people used to talk about CPV, then it went to CPC, then CTR, then maybe add to cart, and then you matured to a level where you talk about CPS or cost per transaction. And I think there might be, Western countries have started doing, these kind of CPT with influencers, right? But I think right now we evolved at a stage where we are from a CPV to a CTR kind of a range in influencer marketing.
True.
But expecting, again, it depends on what kind of objective you do have. And as of now, I think it will take another good time to get to a maturity where you have a different expectation altogether from an influencer activity. Having said that, yes, your objective sometimes is event based also, right? We have seen lot of sales comes with marketplaces, and then again, as I said, and I'm focusing much more on strategical level, and our influencer strategy also changes when we need to support our e-com channels, right? And then we use influencers to having those festive sales on any of the platforms, on Amazon, or maybe Flipkart for BBD or Amazon sale, and then we say that, okay, this is what we expect to communicate to the consumer, that we are giving a good discount on these products, but again, not at a level where we expect them to do sales for us, right? So I would like to just answer on this.
Thanks, Saurabh. Amit, 30 to 40 influencers.
Yeah, I think
आपने उन लोगों की मुश्किल ही आसान कर रखी है.
Okay, so I have a little tangential response to that question of yours, Nitin. I think, whether it is CPV or whether it is CPT, I think for me in my head, it's still a very linear way of gauging the efficacy of your partners, which remains more or less transactional, right? But my point is we all need to grow, together. I think that's where the beauty and the, empowerment will happen, right? It's not only about brands who are going to grow and make money. Your stakeholders also need to grow at the same time, right?
True.
Maybe baby steps, but they need to grow. And I think if it is about the currency that we are looking at in terms of a metric, I think it is nothing but that very currency itself, pesa, money, I think.
Hmm.
And I think on that ground, I in fact think it's going to be almost like challenging the status quo, wherein you say, okay, fine, how can I make this a very linear relationship right now non-linear? And with that, what I mean is like a hybrid remuneration model, which actually goes out, acknowledges you for what you do by and large as a hygiene, but what you also do beyond that hygiene for the brand, for your stakeholders, wherein you get more rewards, more payment
True.
because of the fact that you have brought more monies to the brand, right? So I think that's where, whether it is influencer or even affiliate as well, I think somewhere it needs to kind of shift. I don't know when this will happen, because that is something that I strongly believe in. Unless and until you motivate your partners, they will not go out and put the best foot forward for you. Otherwise, it will always remain very, very transactional or executional. Who knows?
So if I understand this correctly, so and I think I'm getting that from Prajakta as well as from Saurabh and you, and of course Brinda. I said it earlier also. Uh, it's fine that influencers engage with their brands and brands are willing to pay them for that engagement, but a model where you can do some kind of an attribution in this entire currency equation, right? The funnel equation. While we all know that influencers work the entire funnel, right? They talk to people who are sitting at the edge, the ones who are uninitiated to the ones who actually end up buying the product, from an engagement perspective. So in this world of currency shifting from CPM to CPA to CPT, kind of an environment, uh, do you think a multi-touch point attribution model is something that we will see evolve in the next 10 months to 24 months? Do you think that will solve for this? And that will probably be my final question. For the session, we are already 3 minutes over. So quickly, do you think multi-touch point ecosystem getting involved in the next 12 to 24 months?
Yes, I
I think
agree.
only if, only if Instagram, where we are, or YouTube for that matter, is giving us that kind of lever, where they actually take care of brands and the, consumers or the influencers there. And they give us that lever that, hey, you can do this kind of attribution just for videos, just for posts that you're, doing with some kind of, analytics that they can provide. Obviously, they do now, but I'm saying in terms of that metrics, where we want to know, okay, this is my first, second, last, whatever, the entire path, that we need. Right now, it is a bit unclear because it all goes into referral in GA and Adobe is more complex. So there, that becomes a problem. So if at all the platforms itself, get that, because I think they will, now that even the 5,000, the kind of users who have less than or till 5,000 followers
Followers.
can do the swipe up thing. Right now they
Sure.
are allowed to do a swipe up thing now.
True.
Yeah. So that's a big thing, right? That means they're taking care of their users and micro influencers, right? So therein, I think they will come up with certain kind of changes on their platform where we can track it better and make this seamless.
So I'm sure all of you are aware that Instagram is launching their own affiliate attribution marketing platform where content creators can pick up programs and kind of launch it. So I'm sure they would have taken care of this multi-touch point attribution in that platform itself. And I'm sure, Brinda, you had some thoughts yesterday on this. Would you want to elaborate them over here?
Yeah, so I believe that definitely it is going to be multidimensional in future, and yeah, looking at Instagram, they are changing their algorithm, and they are doing a lot of things which is more centric towards influencers, content creators, and this shift is really good. I mean, I'm really looking forward to all the new launches that Instagram has, and I think that that is something that really would bring the customers, the audience, and the content creators, like everybody together, the brands, and I think that's a great way to look into the future.
So I'm sure we will also keep you abreast on the fact that as a platform, we will also be kind of giving you insights very soon. But coming, kind of to the crux of the entire conversation, I'm hoping. Are there any questions that the audience has? I think there are some questions that they've posted on the chat, which I can see. Some of them are regarding what kind of platforms do you use? Is there something specific that all of you would want to kind of tell? Some of them have been asking what kind of influencer marketing platform do you use in terms of technology? Any insights into that? That's one constant question that I've seen on the chat.
I think the one I answered before that highlighted the Plixo platform is what you can use that can actually help you. I mean, all the influencers and the brands.
Saurabh?
Yes, I think from platform per se, everyone knows Instagram is what most of the people uses. I think from technology person, we still use third-party tools, and that too not I would say agencies who give us data on these tools. So we are using that. Nothing specific.
Amit?
No free plugins. No. So, I mean, like on the serious side of it, I agree with what Saurabh said that yes, at present we rely on our agency partners who have these interfaces with them, which they use maybe not only for us as an account but even for other accounts as well. But yes, I think going forward, the way it's expanding, soon, and anyways we are in conversations with some of the partners outside the market as well. We'll have soon something of our own in maybe next 3 to 4 months shortly.
Fantastic. I think all I would like to say is thank you very much. And I think, Garima, anything that you have at your side, that's something that needs to be answered?
No, nothing. I think it was a very interactive session, and I don't have any other questions.
All right. Thank you very much, Garima. Thanks, everybody. Thank you very much for your
Thank
time
you.
today, and hope to connect with all of you soon.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
It's a pleasure to host all of you. Thanks for your great insights. And
Same
hope we
here.
connect again.
Same here.
Thank you,
It was
everybody.
a
Thank
wonderful
you,
session.
everyone. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Sure.
And
Thanks.
thank you for joining in. I want to, however, just thank our partners once. Our
Sure.
title partner, eCommission, powered by partner Optimise Media, brought to you by partner Zapads Media and in association partner Trachea. Our registration partner, Value Leaf, digital growth partner, Microsoft InMobi, gold partners, Admitart and Welco Media, silver partner, Bidroid.io, mobile performance partner, Collectcent, bronze partner, Cashkaro, and platform partner, Airmeet. Thank you so much again.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.